Hi, everybody. So nice to see you here. It's great to have these fantastic people here with us. My name is Gili Sharett, and I'm the social media director of the Greenwich Symphony Orchestra. We're here today at a panel discussion that will be led by Judith Insell, our violist. We also have Lennie DeCsepel, our board member. We have Lisa Wolfe, our violinist, and Bethany Fuscaldo, our cello player. Nice to see everybody.
Hi, it's great to be here. So I'll start with just some brief background about the Greenwich Symphony Orchestra and our continuing efforts to be a part of the community of Greenwich. The Greenwich Symphony Orchestra has been a creative force in the community of Greenwich for decades, presenting orchestral concerts on the campus of Greenwich High School and providing intimate chamber music concerts in the private homes of some of Greenwich's most avid music lovers. Whether through the GSO's Young People's Concert Series or collaborating in concert with the Greenwich High School Chorus, the Greenwich Symphony Orchestra has educated thousands of Greenwich students about the nuances of classical music. Today, we're going to focus on the music education of the students of Greenwich during the challenging times of the COVID-19 pandemic. We are so pleased to have Bethany here as the director of the orchestras for Greenwich High School and a member of our cello section. Lisa is here. She's a string teacher at Greenwich High School and a member of the GSO violin section. And Lennie is here as a former educator and a supportive board member of the Greenwich Symphony Orchestra. So thank you all for being here today. I appreciate the fact that we are all here in support of the community of Greenwich. And I want to start with Bethany. Can you just briefly describe how you have been able to continue to educate your students during this challenging time?
Absolutely. Just want to start out by saying thank you to everybody for being here and having this discussion. I think this is terrific. I'm by myself in the room and Mrs. Wolfe is in another room, so I'm just going to remove my mask so you can hear me speak a little bit more clearly. But as you might imagine, we are masked fully during the day when with others. But briefly, sort of an overview of what we've been doing is the high school is sort of on a hybrid schedule right now, which means that half of the building is in person on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, everybody is fully remote. And then Thursday and Friday, the other half of the building is in person. When the students aren't in person at school, they are live streaming our classes from home. In addition to that, we have students who have opted to be fully remote. And so they are always streaming the classes from their home and they don't come in person. So it's a juggling act trying to balance all of the different needs of the different students. And sometimes I'm seeing them twice a week. Sometimes I'm seeing them 5 days a week on the computer. So trying to manage that is tricky, but it's been going well. I think one of the biggest challenges I had over the summer, kind of preparing for the school year, was, my goodness, how am I going to organize instruction? Because for better or worse, our instruction has really been driven by our 4 concerts that we have every year. We do a Halloween spectacular in the fall, we do a holiday concert in December, a classical music concert in the spring, and then a pops concert at the end of the year. So that more or less has driven our instruction throughout the year. And we don't have that. We don't have concerts this year for obvious reasons. So basically what I came up with and what's kind of been guiding us has been studying music and composers from various historical time periods. So Q1 has been music from the Baroque era. So we took a look at the Brandenburg concertos. We took a look at the Vivaldi Four Seasons. And we did kind of a deep dive into music history. We did a deep dive into some of the composers that were prevalent during that time. And as we just start Q2 this week, we'll be tackling and taking a look at music from the classical era. So that's kind of been guiding our instruction. I've been teaching the folks in the room in person. The virtual students are on my screen next to me up here in the front of the room, and trying to do check-ins as best I can with engaging the folks on the computer, engaging the folks in the room. And the days that we are fully remote, on Wednesdays, we have been doing a chamber music project. And so the students have been working with a new software program, which I can talk about later. And they've been in small groups, and they've been working with their peers somewhat asynchronously. And they've been doing some really nice work with some chamber projects.
Oh, that sounds really great. So I want to ask you about when you say you're doing double duty and you're in the room, you're with some students, you're with some students that are watching from home. Are the students from home really able to get a sense of what's going on in the classroom? Have you had any issues with them actually being able to hear what you're doing and talking about there?
So, I mean, a totally reasonable question, right? So, because of the difference in time, like the natural lag of what we do on the computer, I can't have everybody unmute and play along with us in real time. It just doesn't work. It's just impossible at the moment. Technology is not there yet. So everybody does remain muted when they're from home, but I'm going to turn my screen around and kind of show you what we have going on here. We have a microphone that's pointed at me. We have a webcam pointed at me. And then there's a microphone over there that is pointed towards the students. So they're able to hear their peers that's in the room. They're able to hear a microphone on me. They're able to hear my instruction. I'm oftentimes playing along too, and they can see me on the webcam. And then my computer is over here. So there's a lot of technology going on at any given moment. And I feel we've been really so immersed in this technology that I've become very skilled at being able to manage and take a quick peek over and, oh, what's going on? How come you're not playing? Is everything okay? Do you know where we are? And then joining back into the people in the room. It's gotten easier over the last 2 months.
Wow, that's really fascinating. I'm just wondering, Lisa, are you having a similar setup as what's going on in the orchestra room?
Good question. So in the Greenwich Public Schools, we're doing it sort of as a rollout and gradually introducing all of these this way of teaching to the rest of the district. Bethany's orchestra was the first group to start. And so she was sort of the guinea pig, and she was so successful that now they have rolled out the band, and chorus is coming back at the high school, I think this week. The next rollout is elementary strings, and I'm teaching at the elementary level, Hamilton Avenue School. And we will start rotation schedules, scheduling every 14 days, one lesson per kid, no large group ensembles, but they will all be small group in a classroom with distance and masks. And they will be streamed, these lessons will be streamed to remote learners. So there's a lot of scheduling that has gone into this year. It's quite a balance that we've got going, and a lot of technology that we've had to learn. For the last 2 months, I have not been teaching strings. I have been streaming in teachers. Sorry, that's our alarm bell. I've been streaming in teachers. I've been streaming in art teachers because we do not have itinerant teachers teaching at multiple schools. So I've been facilitating teachers teaching at our school who are not allowed to enter the building. So that's been my job. That job will be taken over by monitors in the coming weeks as we roll out the strings at the elementary level.
It's so great to hear that not only are the high school students going to be able to have this music education experience, now the elementary school students as well will be able to get back to playing and having this sort of kind of community environment of what we all know as playing in a group, as a community builder. and also something that helps to support their social emotional learning for everyone to come together in some way. It seems like it's a combination of in person, at home. They are having a community experience. I want to turn to Lennie now because she's our wonderful guest from our board who happens to have an extensive education background. And she wants to talk to us a little bit about what Greenwich Symphony Orchestra has been doing to help support the learning community of Greenwich.
Oh, thank you, Judith. Well, it's all been new to us. And of course, for the board, changes began last March, and we had to sadly cancel our final concert of the year, our April concert. And of course, we've canceled the fall concerts also. But we're working very hard to keep, to keep our presence in front of the community by way of videos and connections, certainly with the musicians, and in making some presentations that are accessible to our community. We have our board has a membership of 24 members, and our big project this past summer has been led by two of the orchestra musicians, David Cresswell and Diane Lesser. We have conducted a search for our new conductor, who will this would have been the last year that David Gilbert, our conductor of 42 years, would have been conducting. This was his last year. Next year, our plan was and is our candidates, the 5 candidates we have chosen from 170 applications. That was quite a job. Our 5 candidates, who we're all very enthusiastic about, each will be conducting one of the 5 concerts. They'll be here conducting the concerts, attending meetings and gatherings so that we can all get to know each one better. And hopefully we will have a very fine music conductor, director to start off the following season, which would be, 22, 23? Seems impossible to be saying. We've done a few other things. We are working with a very generous board member, and several board members have financed the services of a consultant who's helping us with our media presence and fundraising efforts, audience development, all the things that a community orchestra needs to always consider and work on. So that's what's going on with the board at the moment. Our meetings are all on Zoom. Our committee meetings and our board meetings. We have a board meeting tomorrow night. All 24 members will be on Zoom.
That sounds really great, Lennie. Just to tie it back into what we're talking about as far as education, just so that everybody knows, as I said at the beginning, the Greenwich Symphony Orchestra has done a lot of work in the past to educate students through its programming, through school-age concerts, and I'm sure that the new conductor will come on and be ready to get back to work and put us right out there and educating the kids and supporting the work that you two ladies are doing in the classrooms. It's a joint effort between Greenwich Symphony Orchestra, Greenwich High School, Greenwich Elementary, all the schools and the orchestra together to try to make sure the students of Greenwich, Connecticut and the surrounding areas actually have this foundation of the study of music and also become eventually music lovers and supporters in general of the arts. So I'm so glad Lennie was here to kind of give us an update on the search for the conductor and what's going on with the board, and to hear from the two of you about the challenges that you've had in the classrooms, but actually the challenges aren't really challenges for you guys. You're making it work. So it's working for you. So the students of Greenwich are really lucky to have the members of the Greenwich Symphony Orchestra as performers and educators in their lives. So with that said, I'm going to turn this back over to our host, Gili, and she will end with a final passing phrase or thought for the future.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for everybody for being here. I was wondering if Bethany wants to share a little bit more with us. You mentioned some of the new programs, or if you wanted to share your screen and show us some things, we would love to see that.
Sure, I'm happy to do that. I also wanted to mention before I forget that later this week on Thursday and Friday, we're bringing in virtually Danny Miller and David Cresswell from the orchestra, and they are going to be hosting master classes for our students who are preparing to audition for the Western Regionals. So they'll be coming in virtually, and we'll have some students signed up to perform. They'll get some feedback from Danny and David, and that hopefully will influence and inform as they prepare for this audition that's upcoming. So we're really excited to have them in. David has been with us several times over the last few years, and it's really been very successful. So we're really thrilled to have them back again. Let me go ahead and share my screen and show you a little bit what we have going on. This here is basically our homepage, if you will, for our class. Students have one of these for every single class they take. So they have a page for math, they have a page for English and social studies, so on and so forth. This is my symphony orchestra page. You know, folks who are logging in from home can access the Google Meet link. That's how they stream my class. And everything that I do has to be digitized. So like the sheet music that we do has to go up so that the folks from home can access it, even though they have, you know, a hard physical copy as well. Audio recordings of the works that we're doing, chamber music projects and assignments. Lisa did a fantastic job with compiling some materials for Western Regional preparation, and then just a bunch of assignments that we've been doing here. And it really all gets collected here. There's a program that we're also using. Let me see if I can navigate over. I'm just gonna pause for a second and go over to this other program. It's called Upbeat Music. And Upbeat Music basically allows us to record when we're not together. So this has allowed us to include students who are fully remote at home, some students who are in the building, and anywhere in between, it feels like, and they can come together and they can create this small ensemble. It's like a virtual ensemble. The PTA at Greenwich High School has been generous enough to just this week, we found out they accepted my proposal, and they're gonna be paying for each of the students, all 165 orchestra students, to have a paid subscription to this program. We've been using the free version up until now, and it's been pretty great. And I'm hoping that I can very soon send to you all the recording that one of my string ensembles did. But this has really been a game changer for us to create these virtual ensembles and really connect kids regardless of where they're sitting, learning, you know, and performing music.
Wonderful.
Great.
Yeah.
It's really great. It's so great to also hear about Danny and David coming in person to help out, and yeah, virtual in person. They'll be there in person to help out the students and the programs. It's so wonderful to hear that the Parents Association has helped you to get that next version, that kind of upgraded version of the program you've been using already. So yeah, I mean the community of Greenwich is really stepping up and trying to help the students. That's so great.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. This has been very informative for everybody. If anybody wants to say some final words or share anything, I know that Bethany might send me some materials of the students later on, so we'll try to include it in this interview. And thank you so much for coming and helping and giving us your time. And thank you so much to our board member, Lennie DeCsepel. It's wonderful to have a board member that's so active and also an educator herself and has been doing it for so many years. It's absolutely nice. So thank you.
Thank you, Betty. Thank you.
You, Lenny.
Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you to the board, because we really appreciate you keeping this going, and we appreciate all the work because it's a lot, and you're really keeping it going, and I'm so happy. Thank you.
Oh, with pleasure.
So I'll just mention your names again. We have Lisa Wolfe, our violinist, Bethany Fuscaldo, our cellist, Lennie DeCsepel, our board member, and Judith Insell, who was our moderator for today. She's a violist, she's an educator, she's also the director of Bronx Arts, artistic director. So it's wonderful to have all these amazing artists here today. Thank you so much, and I hope to see everybody soon in person. Be healthy.
Absolutely.
Thanks, you. Bye.
Bye.